Good day everyone, it's Grizzly's story time. Today I'm going to read you a story from a fantastic book of Bible stories. Of course, as with all stories, we're going to start the story at the very beginning. So, let's start. The story of creation. In the beginning, before time began, the Bible tells us how God created the world. The earth was an empty and dark place, and there was no life or light. In 6 days, God created the world and everything living on the earth. The first thing God created was the light. God said, "Let there be light." Suddenly, the first bright light began to shine on the empty, stormy waters covering the earth. God saw the light was good, and he named the light day, and he called the darkness night. Now, God commanded the waters covering the whole earth to pull back. God divided the earth between the dry land and the big seas, and so it happened. Now the world had mountains and valleys, it had lakes and rivers. And God said, "Let the earth be filled with green grass." He put tall trees and beautiful flowers everywhere. He filled the world with colour. And God saw all he created was wonderful, and said to himself, "This is good." On the fourth day, God made the sun, the moon, and the stars. He made the sun shine from the sky during the day, and the moon shine in the night, along with all the countless glittering stars of the universe. But the earth was very quiet and still, because no living beings had been created. Then, on the fifth day, God created fish in the seas and rivers, and birds to fly through the sky. On the sixth day, God made animals of every kind to live on the dry land of the earth. God made every animal you can think of, from elephants and zebras, lions and cattle, sheep, dogs and cats, to all the smallest creatures you can find on earth. When God had created all this, he said, "This is really good." God was almost finished creating the world, but something important was still missing. God knew the most fantastic of all his creations had not yet been created. That was the start of the world as we know it. I wonder what the next creation is going to be. Do you know? I think I know. Well, we'll find out in my next story. See you again soon. Bye!
Adam and Eve.
Good day everyone, it's Grizzly's story time. Today we're going to continue our story from the book of Bible stories. In our last story, God started to create the world. He made light, which he called day, and darkness that he called night. He made the water pull back and created a beautiful green land with grass, tall trees and rivers. He also created fish, birds, and all the animals and creatures. God thought that this was really good, but something was missing. Today we find out what else God created on that sixth day. So, let's begin. On the sixth day, God said, "I want to create people. They should have a conscience so they can think, know, and love me, and love each other. I will make them masters of everything I have made, so they can take care of what I've created." God took dust from the dry land, and he formed Adam, the first man.
God formed Adam, the first man.
God gave Adam his shape and breathed life through his nostrils, so Adam became alive and started to breathe like living things do. Adam opened his eyes and found himself in a wonderful garden called Eden, which God had created for him. Adam was so excited about all the many animals which were surrounding him in the Garden of Eden. So he began to give all the animals names to tell them from one another. But Adam felt lonely, because among all the living beings he did not find any that looked like him. Adam was the only human on the earth.
Adam was the only human on the earth.
God saw that it was not good for Adam to be alone and said, I will create a companion for Adam, so he will not be alone anymore. Then Adam fell into a deep sleep. God took out one of Adam's ribs, and from it he created a companion for Adam, called Eve. When Adam woke up from his deep sleep and opened his eyes, he saw this new person. He said, She shall be called a woman, because she came from man.
She shall be called a woman.
God blessed Adam and Eve and told them to be happy and enjoy all that he had created. God said, Have children and let them help you in taking care of everything which I have created. I want every corner of the earth to be full of life, and I want everything to prosper, blossom and grow. You can eat of everything you find in the garden that I have made for you, but do not eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge. If you do so, you will die.
Do not eat from the tree of knowledge.
After these first 6 days, when time had just begun and God had created everything, he said, Everything is perfect now. This is very, very good.
Everything is perfect. This is very, very good.
It looked as if nothing could destroy the happiness Adam and Eve experienced in the Garden of Eden, where God had created everything so wonderful and perfect. But one day, when Eve was standing near the tree of knowledge, looking at the fruit she could not eat, she heard a voice of a creature named Satan.
She heard the voice of a creature named Satan.
Satan could make himself look like any animal, and now he looked like a snake and said to Eve, Has God really told you not to eat of the fruit of the tree? Are you really sure God meant what he said? Yes, I'm sure. God has said we cannot eat this fruit, Eve said. But are you sure you cannot just have a little bite of the fruit? I can tell you, they really taste good, Satan tempted. And Eve could not stand the temptation. She reached out and took fruit from the tree, tasted it, and she ate it.
She took fruit from the tree, tasted it, and she ate it.
She also gave some to Adam, and he ate it too. But as soon as they had eaten the fruit, they felt bad. Everything was suddenly different, and they were ashamed for what they had done. They also realized that they were naked and were hiding in shame. In the evening, when God came walking through the garden, Adam and Eve dared not go out and meet him. So God was calling out, Adam, where are you?
God was calling out, Adam, where are you?
Here I am, said Adam, and God could hear how Adam's voice had completely changed. And God said, So did you eat from the fruit I have forbidden you to eat? Actually, it was Eve, the woman you gave to me. She made me eat the fruit, Adam said. And Eve said, No, it was the evil snake that tempted me and made me eat from the tree. God was angry and said, I have told you very often not to eat this fruit, and this means you cannot be here in the garden any longer. Now I have to throw you out of the Garden of Eden forever, and you will have to live on the earth where you must take care of yourself. And you will no longer be able to speak with me face to face like you have done here in Eden. It was a very sad day when Adam and Eve had to leave the garden. An angel holding a flaming sword was guarding the entrance to Eden, preventing anybody ever to enter into the garden again.
An angel holding a flaming sword was guarding the entrance to Eden.
The paradise in the garden with God was lost for Adam and Eve. But God still loved Adam and Eve. God did not forget them. That's the end of the Adam and Eve part of the story. They really should have listened to God and not have disobeyed him. That Satan guy disguised as a snake really messed it up for them, didn't he? God was truly angry and disappointed with Adam and Eve, but I think he should have given them another chance and allowed them to stay in the Garden of Eden. He should have thrown out the snake instead. What do you think? I wonder what will happen to Adam and Eve. Do you think they can survive without the help of God? Well, our next story is about a big ship with lots of animals. Do you know what the story is called? See you again soon. Bye! Good day everyone, it's Grizzly's Storytime. Today we're going to continue our Bible story from the book of Bible stories. In our last story, God had already created the world, the creatures and Adam and Eve. He told Adam and Eve that they could eat anything they desired from the Garden of Eden, but don't eat from the tree of knowledge. But Eve was tempted by Satan and ate the fruit from the tree of knowledge she also gave to Adam, and he ate the fruit also. God was very angry and disappointed and decided to throw Adam and Eve out of the Garden of Eden and told them to look after themselves and that they would no longer be able to talk to God face to face as they had always done. So what did God do now? Let's find out. Let us begin. The story is called Noah's Big Boat. Years went by and the earth was now full of people. But people had completely forgotten all about God and did more and more evil things to one another. This made God very sad, and he tried to find a good person somewhere on earth.
God tried to find a good person on earth.
God searched, but he found only one good man. His name was Noah. Noah loved and obeyed God. God said to Noah, I regret that I created people, and I want to start all over again. I'm going to send a big flood over the world, but you and your family will be safe.
I'm going to flood the world, but your family will be safe.
God then told Noah to build a giant boat called an ark. It was big enough to hold Noah's family and one pair, a male and female, of all living animals in the world. The ark will protect you and the animals and keep you safe from the flood, God said.
God said the ark will protect you and keep you safe.
Noah and his 3 sons spent many years building the ark. The ark was built exactly following the instructions God had given to Noah. When the ark was finished, God sent every kind of animal to Noah. 2 by 2, they all entered into the ark, where rooms were prepared for them to stay. When all the many animals had entered into the ark, God himself closed the big door to the ark right behind Noah.
God closed the big door to the ark.
Then it started to rain. First, water covered the streets and the fields, and the rain continued to fall all over the world. Then it covered houses and towns. More rain fell, and the ark began to float quietly and safe. The big boat started to float by the wind and the strong current, which led the ark away on the big waters that now covered the whole world. But everyone inside the ark was safe because God had told Noah how to build the ark to stay dry and safe. Rain kept falling for 40 days and nights, and even the mountain tops were covered with water. Noah and his family were now the only people still alive on earth.
Noah and his family were the only humans alive on earth.
After the rain stopped, the ark floated around on the waters almost half a year. The water had dried up little by little, and the mountain tops were now visible again. But all the valleys and the big forests were still covered by waters. Then, one day, the ark touched dry ground on the side of a mountain called Ararat. Noah opened a window in the ark and sent out a black raven. He let the bird fly away, but it immediately returned to Noah because it did not find any dry land. Then Noah sent out a dove to see if the water had dried up from the land. But the dove also returned to the ark because it found no place to land. Noah waited 7 more days and sent the dove out again. This time the bird came back with a green twig in its beak. Noah smiled.
The dove came back with a green twig in its beak. Noah smiled.
He knew that it was possible to find dry land. A week later, Noah released the dove once more, but this time the dove did not return, and Noah knew it was time to leave the ark. God then said, "Everybody can leave the ark, for the flooding is over." And Noah sent out all the animals.
God said the flooding is over. Noah sent out all of the animals.
They were excited to go out into a new world just waiting for them. Noah built an altar to worship God and to thank him for keeping his family and all the animals safe. Then God blessed Noah and his sons and said, "I am making a promise to you today. Watch the rainbow I have put up in the sky. This shall be the sign to you that I will never destroy the world again with a flood."
Watch for the rainbow. This is a sign that I will never destroy the world with a flood again.
Still, in the time right after the flooding, Noah and his family always were a little anxious when the dark skies and the heavy rain came. But they always remembered God's promise to them. And after the rain, when the sun was breaking through, the bright, colourful rainbow showed up in the sky. They were safe, and God would keep his promise always.
The rainbow showed they were safe, and God would keep his promise.
That's the end of the story of Noah's big boat. God was really upset and angry with people and realized he had made a mistake. He chose Noah because Noah was faithful to him and loved God. I'm glad that God saved all the innocent creatures. If it rains heavy in your part of the world, look for that rainbow. Then you will know that God will keep you safe. That's the last of our Bible stories for now. I have created a few new adventure stories that I'm eager to share with you. See you again soon. Bye!